Imagine a border so quiet, you forget it's there. No barbed wire, no soldiers, just a line in the woods between the US and Canada. One of the longest borders in the world, and one of the most peaceful. But fly across the globe, and you'll find borders that bleed, borders that divide families, borders that spark wars. Why is America so lucky? And what can we learn from nations whose neighbors are not just countries, but nightmares? Let's be real. America's geography is a superpower. To the north, Canada, a peaceful, wealthy ally. To the south, Mexico. Complex, yes, but despite tensions, there's no war, no invasion fears. And on both sides, oceans, vast, protective oceans. No rival army, just 50 miles from D.C., no nuclear-armed neighbor across a river. Compare that to Ukraine, bordered by Russia, or South Korea, literally staring down North Korea across the DMZ, or Israel, surrounded by nations that have fought it for decades. America didn't earn this peace through genius diplomacy. It was born into it. If Washington were in Kiev, we'd have air raid drills in schools. If the U.S. were Israel, we'd have missile defense systems over every major city, but we don't, and that shapes everything. Our foreign policy, our military spending, even our worldview. Now let's look at Russia. It shares borders with 14 countries. And history shows, when you're surrounded, you get paranoid. Russia sees NATO moving closer. It invades Georgia. It annexes Crimea. It invades Ukraine, all in its view to create a buffer. But here's the irony. By attacking its neighbors, Russia makes them hate it more. Now Finland and Sweden, neutral for decades, are joining NATO. Its fear created the very threat it feared. Does that sound familiar? America's war on terror created blowback. Russia's security creates encirclement. The lesson? You can't bully your way to safety. In 1947, British India was split. Overnight, borders were drawn by a man who'd never been to the region, Sir Cyril Radcliffe. The result? 15 million displaced, 1 million dead, and two nations, India and Pakistan, born in blood. Today, they share a tense border. Nuclear-armed, fighting over Kashmir, soldiers freezing to death on glaciers just to hold a piece of land no one lives on. Imagine if Texas and Mexico had a nuclear arms race over New Mexico. That's India and Pakistan. But it doesn't have to be this way. Look at Germany. In 1945, it was destroyed. Its neighbors, France, Poland, Belgium, all scarred by German invasions. But instead of building walls, Germany asked, how do we never do this again? Answer, integration, the EU, shared economies. German Chancellor Willy Brandt kneeling in Warsaw. France and Germany now co-pilot the EU. A nation once feared as a war machine is now Europe's quiet engine. Germany could have turned inward, built walls, nursed resentment, but instead it asked a question few defeated nations dare to ask. How do we make sure this never happens again? The answer wasn't isolation, it was integration. Trade over tanks, dialogue over dominance. The European Union was born, not just as a market, but as a memory, a promise. France and Germany, once bitter enemies, now co-pilot Europe. Their economies intertwined, their students exchange at classrooms, their soldiers train side by side. Germany, once the war machine of Europe, is now its quiet engine. Proof that even the deepest wounds can heal, not by forgetting the past, but by building a future together. Some borders don't just divide land, they divide time. South Korea races into the future. Neon lights, K-pop, skyscrapers. North Korea stands still, a regime frozen in fear and control. The Korean demilitarized zone, a 250-kilometer scar across the peninsula. No war, no peace, just silence. A place where birds fly free, but people cannot. Here, brothers haven't spoken in decades. Sisters don't know each other's children, and every step across the line could cost a life. Unlike Germany, the wall here never fell. It just became invisible, buried in ideology, fear, and silence. America's borders are quiet, not because we earned it, but because we inherited it. Two oceans, friendly neighbors, no ancient rivalries clawing at the gates. That's silence. It's not a victory, it's a privilege. While other nations live with the scars of colonization, partition, and proxy wars, we live with the luxury of distance. But distance breeds detachment, and detachment breeds arrogance. We point fingers at nations trapped in cycles of violence, without asking what we do in their place. If our borders bled history like theirs, because peace isn't just a policy, it's a geography lesson, it's a trauma map. And the most dangerous borders aren't the ones with barbed wire, they're the ones we forget exist. So before we judge, before we intervene, before we claim moral high ground, let's remember geography is destiny. And America got the best seat in the house.